Hello, and welcome to another stream. Today we're playing Super Mario Bros. 3 because today is March 10, or Mario Day as it's sometimes referred to, because M-A-R and then the 10 for the I and the O. Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite of the original Mario games. I grew up with Mario 1, 2, and 3, but I remember playing this game the most. This was actually the first game I ever did a Let's Play of. And it's actually been a while since I've actually played the NES version specifically, so I thought it might be fun to revisit the original. Alright, so this game was kind of a big deal at the time for a few reasons. One, it's the first Mario game to actually have a world map, instead of just going directly from level to level. It was also kind of a back-to-basics kind of game, because Mario 2, both versions of Mario 2 were very divisive, for different reasons. Mario 2 USA was basically a different game that was kind of repurposed into Mario 2 for the West, because the original Mario 2 was considered too difficult for Western audiences. And to be fair, I think they actually were onto something, because that game actually is really unfairly difficult at times. It's probably the toughest Mario game, and one of the only Mario games I've actually never completed because it's that difficult. Alright, so moving on to stage 2. One thing I just thought about, it's actually really unusual to go from a, first level to, not an underground level, especially nowadays. It does feel like, originally, there tended to be a lot more unique second levels in Mario games, but because of nostalgia for the first game, most of the time the second level ends up being underground. So these stages are generally pretty short, especially at first. The stages do get longer throughout the game, but there are a couple of interesting secrets in this particular stage, so let's show them off. First of all, there's actually a hidden block here that takes you to a special part of the stage. This is basically a coin collecting area. One nice thing about Mario 3 compared to Mario 1 is being able to backtrack, so even if we do this, we'll be able to show off more of the stage than we would have otherwise been able to in Mario 1 as an example, where you basically are constantly being forced to go right. Yeah, we got a lot of coins out of that. And that actually takes us to the end of the stage, but I do want to go back here, because there's a very famous Easter egg. I'm pretty sure, I feel like a lot of people, even those who aren't necessarily the most familiar with Mario, are probably semi-aware of how this trick works. If you hold down on the D-pad, you will phase through this block and be able to go behind the stage to find a secret area. One toot on this whistle will send you to a faraway land. So we got our first warp whistle, but I actually don't want to use this, otherwise this will be a very short stream. Pick a box, its contents will help you on your way. So the Toad houses have different items you can pick up. They're kind of randomized. Some are actually fixed, others are fairly random. And we're moving on to the first auto-scroller. I feel like these stages are actually kind of interesting in Mario 3 specifically, because there is a unique gimmick in certain auto-scrollers. where you can actually unlock secret items if you collect a certain amount of coins. And I actually think that's a great idea, because in general, auto-scrollers aren't the most exciting thing in the world to go through, so having an additional challenge like collecting a certain amount of coins is a nice way to kind of keep the stage a little bit more lively than it would be otherwise. I actually don't remember the exact number of coins you need for this. I'm trying to go for it because this is one of the easier secret areas to unlock, so I figured I might as well try. So yeah, just basically collect all the coins in sight. This is probably the toughest part because it's hard to actually get a lot of coins out of that block because of the height of it. It's hard to actually, like, hit it constantly like other blocks. Anyway, that should be the end of the stage. Go through here and see if we actually did it. Yep, we got enough coins to unlock the secret White Mushroom House. Hello, you found my shop of strange and wonderful things. So we got a P-Wing from that, which is normally the reward for clearing World 1, but yeah, now we have an extra one. There are also these little mini-games for extra lives. I've never been good at this, though. Line up the pictures and get a prize. You only get one try. Yeah, that went about as well as I expected. So, in theory, there's actually a really fast way to get through this fort, but we actually would skip a boss. So I'm actually debating what to do here, like if I should go through the fast exit or if I should take the slower exit, because frankly it doesn't get shown off very often. Anyway, the faster exit is to get a warp whistle from a hidden door at the end of this path, but for the sake of actually showing off more of the game, I think I'll actually go through the door. You're supposed to wait for the spikes, but it's actually slow enough that you can actually make it over here with plenty of time to spare. But you still have to wait for this door to show up. And we have our first mini-boss against Boom Boom. He's a pushover. Later fights will be a little bit more complicated, but still not overly difficult. Hello, welcome to the stream. I hope the stream overlay is working. I think I forgot to turn it on last time. Yeah, we're just playing some Mario 3, seeing how far we can get. Currently in World 1-5, which is actually the first underground level. Again, it's actually weird playing a Mario game where the first underground level is this late into the game, considering how much the New Super Mario Bros. Games follow that very specific formula of having the underground stage second. I feel like I skipped a lot of the stage without really meaning to. It just kind of worked out that way. So we have this little thing that will give us items. I actually don't think I'll worry about that quite yet. I kind of want to fight this Hammer Bro instead. And this isn't too difficult. There's only one to start out, so just easy fight. And get a free star out of it as well. So this stage is really fun. I actually like this one, but I actually can't usually succeed at going particularly fast at this one. You're supposed to you can actually run along here and build up speed, and then just fly to the end. But it's actually kind of tricky, I find, to build up enough speed to make it to the end. Barely made it. Alright, let's actually try this. Flip over any two cards and see if they match. You can only miss twice. So, these are actually fixed. If you can basically figure out a pattern, it'll basically fall into a set list of different variations. I don't actually have the list. I used to have the guide for the game. I think I still have the guide somewhere, just not easily accessible. So I actually don't entirely know where this would be relative to this board. This board's weird because normally there's like a flower instead of a mushroom. So this is an easy one to decipher if you actually have the list. Alright, so we're actually almost done with World 1 already. So we have another little mushroom house, so we might as well pick up something else here. A leaf this time. And we have our first castle. Oh, it's terrible. The king has been transformed. Please find the magic wand so we can change him back. So one weird thing about this game that I actually thought about recently, or discovered recently, was I played the Super Nintendo version, and it actually has different animals for the king's transformations. I'm not sure why they changed them, actually, but it is an interesting quirk of the later re-releases. I think the GBA version uses the Super Nintendo version's, like, changes. There's also special dialogue if you finish the castle/airship stages with special power-ups, like the frog suit, the Tanuki suit, or the hammer suit. I have no idea if I'll be able to show those off because it's actually kind of difficult getting to the end of stages with those items. We have our first Koopaling, Larry. He's kind of unusual for a very specific reason. Ow. And contrary to what I would have thought, it's actually faster apparently in speedruns to actually let the wand hit the ground, and the reason is because Mario is further down on the screen, so he actually will move to the next screen faster after the stage ends. Oh, thank heavens, I'm back to my old self again. Thank you so much. Here is a letter from the princess. Greetings. If you see any ghosts, be careful. They will give chase if you turn away. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. Princess Toadstool. I'm not sure why she calls the P-Wing a jewel. I always thought it was more like an actual wing. But anyway, we're in World 2 already, so starting with Stage 1. So World 2 is like probably when the game starts to get a little bit tougher. I remember actually struggling a lot at this world when I was really young. I feel like now it's actually somewhat cathartic being able to just kind of blast through a lot of the early game. But I still actually struggle a lot with the late game. Specifically, I think World 6 and World 7 are the worlds I struggle with the most, oddly enough. Weirdly enough, World 8 actually normally doesn't give me a ton of trouble. So we'll have to see how this playthrough goes. It could go a lot of different ways. So Stage 2 is another one of the ones with a white mushroom house. I cannot guarantee that I'll get this one just because it's actually really particular. So the way this works is you kind of have to do two passes through the stage. One with a P block or P switch to change all the blocks to coins, and one pass to basically go back and get the other coins that you missed the first go around. See, I already missed 2 coins, so yeah, I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to actually get through this with the special coin requirement. It's not that big of a deal. I actually forget what the items are. The World 1 one conveniently is a good item. The P-Wing is very overpowered, but it is actually kind of... At some point I actually would like to look up what the others are, because I genuinely don't remember. I also don't know how far we're going to get in the game today. In theory, I would like to get at least to World 4 or World 5, but who knows? No promises. And the fort of World 2 is actually really early compared to other worlds. We've only done 2 stages. I always remembered this one a lot, partly because it has a very unique stage design. Like the background tiles for the stage, actually I don't think are shared with any other stage. At least as far as I remember, that might not be right. I guess we'll see as we go through this. Again, I usually don't play the NES version. I usually play the GBA version because that's the first version I actually finished as a kid, because you could actually save the game, so it was a lot easier, to be honest. The one downside of the GBA version, as is the case with most GBA versions, is the screen is a little bit narrower. But other than that, the GBA version is actually pretty alright, at least from what I recall, and even has some bonus content. Alright, next up is either Stage 3 or another flip card game. I think we'll just go to Stage 3. If at all possible, I'd actually like to try to get through this without using a ton of items, and just use like the actual in-stage items instead of like the reserve ones. I don't know if that'll actually work out all the time. I might actually cave at some points. But in general, I would like to get through this game without using a ton of like the P-Wings and other items, because I tend to like over-rely on them when I play this game casually, to the point where it's like kind of removes a lot of the challenge from it. So it might be fun to actually intentionally avoid using the really overpowered stuff. But we'll have to see how this goes. So we have a very infamous level here for obvious reasons, or reasons that will be obvious very shortly. So we have the Angry Sun, a very iconic stage. I feel like this is definitely a level that gives people trouble on like a first playthrough, but as long as you basically jump through that tornado at full speed, it won't slow you down. You just keep going, and that's basically it. Then just avoid sun, and you're good to go. So we have a branching path here. I guess we should go to stage 4 if we're going in order. So this stage actually has a cool little secret. You can actually, I almost really messed that up. You can actually fly up here and skip a bunch of the stage and get a lot of, I think, coins in the process. I normally don't go this way because normally I lose my power-up at some point before this stage, but we actually made it here, so might as well get a few extra coins. There's also a bonus thing where if you end up like getting a certain amount of coins and have a certain coin count at the end, you can actually unlock a special mushroom house, or like, actually I think it's an airship with coins. I almost never actually access that because it's actually very specific. Like you have to have a very specific coin count that matches like the last digit in the counter or something like that. It's very, very precise. Alright, so we have a choice between a Hammer Bro and the next stage. Let's actually take a break from stages and get into a battle. So here we have a Boomerang Bro, still not that difficult to defeat, but a little bit tougher because you have to watch for the boomerang on the way back. So now our choice is Pyramid or going this way. This is also an option. I'm pretty sure this is actually a fixed Mushroom House, like, you will always get the same item, which is a frog suit for World 3. And there's also a very special Hammer Bro fight. We have 2 Fire Bros. If we defeat them, we can actually get another Warp Whistle, and if you use them back to back, you can actually warp all the way to World 8, but we won't be doing that because this is going to be a full playthrough. Alright, with that diversion out of the way, let's head over to the actual... Well, we're still not going to the stage, because I forgot this Mushroom House. So I don't know if this one is fixed or not, or if it's random. I feel like I haven't been getting the best luck, since I've been getting a lot of mushrooms. And also I should check over here, because yeah, I actually forgot one Mushroom House. So we have another chance at this. I completely forgot what the order was last time because I was not really paying enough attention. So yeah, no items, that's fine. I think it's okay to not have an overabundance of items in this game. I feel like the item system is good because you can actually stockpile items, which is good, like, if you need to learn the game. But I almost feel like I can get through it with just, like, the mushroom houses. I say this, but I might eat my words later, because some of the later stages can definitely be challenging. It's just a matter of, yeah, I think I can get through it on, like, an optimal run, but will this be an optimal run is the question. Stage 5 introduces Chain Chomps. These have a unique gimmick where if you wait around long enough, the Chain Chomps will actually break free. So yeah, best not to wait around too long. Playing with fire here, I'm not going to worry about that mushroom. Yeah, I definitely am already eating my words about not needing a ton of items to get through this game. I'm, yeah, definitely regretting saying that out loud, as I'm having to very carefully navigate this stage. I do feel like sometimes the physics in this game are a little bit unpredictable, partly just because I'm not used to them after playing, like, more modern Mario games. It's almost like it's hard to reacclimate to the older physics set, especially for Mario 1, but even this game, to some extent, has that problem. We have this little secret area here with a mushroom. There's also a P-switch somewhere to get the rest of the coins. This is actually really difficult to, like, max out the coins, or max out the profit from this room, because it's really easy to accidentally break blocks. Every 100 coins is a life, and we might need all the lives we can get. So at least we're Raccoon Mario again, or we will be. There we go. So yeah, that wasn't too bad, but a little dodgy at times. So the second Hammer Bro, that was very unfortunate. I think this one has a music box. Yep, there it is. And we're moving on to the pyramid. This is a very unique stage, for a couple reasons. One, there are very few, like, unique world map icons. I can think of this and, like, the tower in World 5 as examples of really specific world map locations that don't really come up very often. Or at all, other than these two examples. There's also a hidden block with the little two white dots on the wall that don't really match the rest. There's actually a secret area. Maybe I should go back and show this. I usually skip it because it's faster to go the other way, but there's a warp pipe over here. And if we play our cards right, we can actually get a ton of coins out of this. The question is, can we play our cards right? Because I usually mess this up, if I'm being honest. You basically have to get a lot of the coins initially, and then activate the P-switch to get the remaining coins. But it's kind of a matter of maximizing which blocks, like, you leave, and which ones you actually break. And with that, we should actually be at the end of the stage. Just gotta break that, and we're good to go. I think I'm confusing the stage for another stage, because I feel like there's another stage that's kind of a little bit more complicated than that. Yeah, I think I'm actually getting my stages mixed up. Alright, so it's time for the final stage, World 2. Alright, so we have another airship auto-scroller, so hi! Welcome to the stream. I feel like with a game like this that I just really know well, like I've been playing this game for like a majority of my life, it feels like, since I was like, what, 4? From what I remember? So yeah, I feel like I kind of slip into sort of like autopilot mode with games like this. So hi, welcome to the stream. I hope everyone is having a good week so far. A good day as well, and whatnot. In general, I've been actually enjoying streaming more lately. I've also been enjoying working on like YouTube stuff again, because I recently like relaunched my YouTube channel to upload a little bit more often than I was, which was like twice a month. So now it's a lot more than that. So it's actually been really nice to get back into content work. Nice little like sort of distraction almost from like recent goings on. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be with how uneven the train is. I actually struggle with this a lot. And we saved the second king. I don't know why there are like so many kings in the Mushroom Kingdom now that I think about it. You can stomp on your enemies using Goomba's shoe. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. Princess Toadstool. So kicking off World 3, we have an underwater stage. I should have actually used the frog suit, but I kind of forgot, to be honest. But yeah, it's like with the Mushroom Kingdom, it's like you have Princess Peach, but you also have all these other kings in the Mushroom Kingdoms of like individual territories that are still, I guess, part of the Mushroom Kingdom. But yeah, I never really thought about it. It's like each individual part of the Mushroom Kingdom has their own king, which is kind of interesting. So they're almost more like individual lands, but then like Princess Peach is the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom, so is she like in a higher position than all the other kings of the individual kingdoms? Yeah, I never really considered this, to be honest. Anyway, that was the first stage. So moving on to stage 2, it actually is kind of interesting, because of something I noticed recently. I feel like in general, with World 3, with how the world map is set up, generally the location of the icon on the map actually indicates what kind of stage it's going to be. So we have a lot of water stages over, like, water tiles on the world map, but the stages on, like, solid ground, I'm pretty sure are actually, like, represented as being on ground. I actually need to pay more attention to that, because I want to, double-check this, theory, actually, once we get farther into this world. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. So yeah, based on my theory, this should be a more land-based stage. First, though, we should actually get this item. It might help us a lot in an upcoming stage. It's another frog suit. So yeah, instead of being like a predominantly underwater stage, we actually do have a lot more land this time, so maybe this theory does hold up. This is our introduction to Boss Bass, who will try to eat us if we get too close, so we have to be very careful to stay out of the water, which is easier said than done. That's a lot of slowdown. Boss Bass can be defeated, but he'll respawn shortly after. I don't know which stage is actually the Mushroom House stage. I mean, the stage has a lot of coins, but I'm pretty sure it's actually a later stage that has a similar amount of coins. In terms of, like, unlocking the White Mushroom House that has a secret item. And, like before, I actually don't even know what this one is, because I almost never get the one for World 3. Alright, so we're moving on to the fort, and it's gonna be interesting seeing if I actually remember how to do this. So, this is kind of like a trial and error door stage. So there's like 6 or 7, actually I think it's more like 9 or 10 doors. And we have to figure out which is the right door to take us to the end. One door will be correct, and I don't remember which one it is. I actually did remember it was door number 6. I thought it was 6, but I wasn't really sure. But we made it. Also, fireballs can defeat Boom Boom as well, making it a lot easier to get through the mini-boss itself. So now we have 2 Hammer Bros to deal with. Lost our Fire Flower, but that's okay. Alright, so this is a good test of this theory I have. This is definitely over water, but this is over land, so in theory this should be a more land-based stage. And it is. That's actually a cool detail. I hadn't really thought about that. Or maybe I had and I forgot it, to be honest. But yeah, it's actually kind of cool having a little hint at the actual terrain on the world map itself. So you're supposed to, get a running jump like that, or a sliding jump, but you can also just hit blocks along the wall to climb up if you fall down. So you don't actually have to get a perfect jump off of that slide. We have Lakitu over there, throwing spinies at us, but we made it through no problem. Alright, so the bridges alternate every stage, so that's part of the reason why doing stage 4 was actually very convenient, because it made us, it allowed us to easily get to the Mushroom House. And I don't know what this one has, to be honest. Again, I don't really remember a lot of the Mushroom Houses, like which ones are fixed or not. I feel like this one might be. More Hammer Bros. The items also are fixed too. Like, specific Hammer Bros will always have a specific item, which actually makes the speedruns interesting because they have to do RNG manipulation to get the Hammer Bro they actually need with a specific item. So we have another underwater stage. We have a wall there, sadly we can't get past that very easily. So yeah, Mario 3 is a very interesting game for me, personally. I had an NES growing up, and I played it a bunch until it finally gave out, basically. So I actually never finished this game growing up. It took years to actually, like, play it again through the Game Boy Advance version and finish it, because I'm pretty sure I still struggled a lot, even with, like, saving and stuff like that. I never had a Super Nintendo, so I never played All-Stars until more recently. Recently, I had a lot of free time, so I just went through most of the games on the All-Stars collection except 2, the original Super Mario Bros. 2, just because I felt I did not have the patience to sit through such a difficult game under the circumstances. But I did play the other 3, and it was actually interesting going through those versions, because they do have some unique differences from the NES versions and the GBA versions. So, if we break this rock, we can actually access a secret island with a ton of items, but we actually have so many items, I might skip it, honestly. Alright, so out of nowhere, we have this little sky stage. This stage is fun, but it's also very, stressful. Maybe this was the coin one. I want to say it was 3-8 though. Again, I feel like past World 1, my knowledge of the game starts to kind of slip a little bit. I feel like part of the reason why is because when I was really young, I would... Oh wow, I glitched the game. This was the block that was hit on the other side, but it was kind of screen wrapping to the point where it ended up kind of burning into the screen. I've never seen that happen before. But like, for example, you can see the overscan area on the right is kind of green. So I feel like that's why that block was green, because it was kind of in the overscan area when the Koopa shell hit it, so it kind of just got stuck like that. Yeah, I've never actually seen that happen before, so that was actually kind of cool. I have had issues with like despawning platforms, which is less cool, so hopefully that doesn't happen in this playthrough. I want to say that happened in my Let's Play, but I don't remember for sure. And that was like 7 years ago, so I don't fully remember what all went down in that playthrough. So we have a choice between 7 and 8. I kind of want to go for stage 8, and then work our way backwards, but I also kind of want to stick with the intended order. Also, just the stage isn't that great, so I kind of was like, should I do stage 8 because it's better, or should I save it for later? Anyway, this is Spike, a recurring Mario villain in more recent games. He actually wasn't in a lot of Mario games until more recently. I'm trying to remember when Spike started to reappear. I want to say it was around like the New Super Mario Bros. Era, but he was also in like Captain Toad and games like that. So, we've actually gone like 2 stages without using a single item. This is actually a stage where I want an item. If we can swim through this fort, it'll make our lives a lot easier. Because we have to navigate through all of the little spinning discs. We have all the cheap sheep swimming around. Later on, I think in this room actually, we'll start to see ghosts. These are called, I think, boo blocks. They're boos that live in blocks. Very self-explanatory name. But in general, if you have the frog suit, it's not bad. If you don't have it, it's kind of bad. It gets a lot more intimidating trying to actually swim manually through all that. But with the frog suit, it's actually pretty easy. So the frog suit isn't ideal for land-based stages. Spoilers, this is a land-based stage, so I've made a grave error. Alright, let's try this again. We have plenty of mushrooms, so we'll be fine. So yeah, the frog suit is best for water-based stages, and water-based stages alone, without any land obstacles. Again, I kind of want to say this is the White Mushroom House stage, but I genuinely don't know, because it's been a while since I've actually gone through and actually looked through like a guide to see where everything is located. I'm definitely not having the best run of World 3. It's not going horribly, like I've definitely had worse World 3s than this, but this is definitely not going, like, ideally either. I've definitely messed up a lot of stuff already, like losing our first life of this run. I don't think I've ever done a deathless run of this game. It's something I kind of want to try someday. but also in general, challenge runs I tend to do very sparingly. Partly just because I don't replay as many games as I used to. That's almost the kind of thing I would have done like when I was really young and then never got around to it. Well, this is bad. Somehow survived that. I'm not gonna worry about the coins, I just kinda wanna survive the stage, to be honest. Considering we already lost 1 life here. I take it back, I was confusing stage 8 with stage 9. I think this is still the White Mushroom House stage, but when I was talking about like stage 7, yeah, stage 9 is actually, in my opinion, the fun one. So, we have some cool, like, gimmicks here where we actually kind of go between a land stage and a water stage. We also have these, like, Micro Goombas that are really annoying to deal with. You kind of have to shake them off, which is easier said than done a lot of the time. We also have Bob-ombs from Mario 2 making their return, except they actually are real this time and aren't a figment of our imagination, because that was originally a dream. Spoilers for Mario 2, I guess, but yeah, Mario 2 was supposed to be a dream, which is why it's so, like, off from other Mario games, because it's, like, not supposed to be real, and then they ended up incorporating everything into this game anyway, so it's kind of an interesting choice. Yeah, actually, it is interesting how much actually originated from the game that was supposed to be a dream, and then ended up being incorporated into the later games as, like, real enemies. Though I guess it makes sense, you know, that Mario would dream about some things that would actually exist. I'm trying to get the star, because I have 2 stars at the moment. It's actually really tricky if you mess up the timing on the first pass. I think this is the first time we've actually taken a warp pipe. Basically what this does is will take us to a different part of the level, but in other cases these act as shortcuts. For example, if you actually lose all your lives and get a game over, some warp pipes will stay open after clearing a fort, so you can basically warp over to the end a lot faster than having to play through every stage over again. So it's time for the fortress. I am concerned because, in my opinion, this is the toughest, not fortress, airship. This is the toughest airship in the game. This time the king has been turned into a Kappa. I don't think that's the case for the other later re-releases. So it's kind of an interesting choice for a couple reasons. So basically, this particular castle is interesting because it's on an island that's basically supposed to be shaped like Japan, and the castle's location is actually where Nintendo's headquarters either used to be or still is. I actually don't know if that's like still like close geographically to where it would have been. And there's also another Easter egg related to that that we'll see once we clear this. This is actually unusual getting a a raccoon leaf in an airship. Normally they give you fire flowers, and I actually would have preferred that in this castle because that would have been very helpful. The raccoon leaf, not so helpful in this very specific circumstance. You can also jump over this to skip all the under side of the ship part by that like engine, so that's just a little bit of a shortcut that saves a little bit of time and headache, not having to worry about all that stuff. And we have Wendy O. Koopa, who's actually, in my opinion, the toughest Koopaling to actually defeat, especially as Small Mario, so I'm trying to be very careful. First try, not bad. Also, the previous one was Morton. I think I forgot to say his name. So yeah, the king on the island that's shaped like Japan and located on where Nintendo's headquarters would be looks a lot like Mario. The white block contains magic powers that will enable you to defeat your enemies. I've enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. Princess Toadstool. And now we're moving on to the fan favorite world of the game. A lot of people really like World 4. I almost feel a little bit more neutral on it than some, and I'm trying to think why. I feel like the gimmick of having like really oversized enemies is cool. Like, it's legitimately cool. But it's also been done a lot in more recent Mario games, and it's often been done better, in my opinion, to the point where it almost feels a little bit less exciting in hindsight. I do like some of the sprite work, though, making the enemies really, like making the sprites a lot bigger is actually kind of a cool technique. And like, the blocks break into like 4 smaller blocks. Things like that is kind of cool, but in general, it's almost kind of like, the world itself is really safe, design-wise. The main thing that makes it interesting is the oversized enemies, but beyond that, it's just kind of a simple, like, plains stage. There's a plains world, kind of like World 1 was. And this is definitely the White Mushroom House stage for World 4, I definitely remember this one. Will I be able to get it? Probably not, because I actually tend to struggle a lot with the stage. There's a lot of enemies, trying to hold on to the raccoon leaf is not easy, and then trying to actually get the coins quickly is not easy. I'll give it a try, but if I don't get it, oh well, it's all fine. Yeah, I think I kind of messed it up, but oh well. I also left a bunch of items on purpose, so I can actually restock on items if I needed to, and turns out I needed to. And this is why I intentionally leave certain items like this. The problem with this, like the fish bridge stages, is you can very easily get like, get hit while trying to get a power-up, which kind of defeats the purpose of going out of your way for a power-up. Somehow survived all of that, though, which I'm very happy about. I don't know if I got enough coins, though. Turns out I did. Hello, you found my shop of strange and wonderful things. So what this does is, when you encounter the airship, basically what happens is, like, story-wise, the airship is at the castle, and then it leaves the castle, so it moves to a different spot on the world map. The anchor will keep it in one place, which is actually really good for the next world. Another mushroom house. Another chance at something good that will probably just be a standard mushroom. I actually got a fire flower this time. Shockingly. Which is good, because I actually, I'm debating using it, because the next stage can be a little bit tricky without any items. Well, that was not the smartest decision I've ever made in terms of approaching that sumo bro, as they're called. Basically oversized hammer bros that can shake the ground and stun you if you're standing on the ground when they land. A very interesting enemy, actually, that wouldn't actually return for a long time, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I want to say, again, the new Super Mario Bros. Games. The new Super Mario Bros. Games really liked Mario 3, specifically, which I think is actually why I like New Super Mario Bros. More than most, because it draws so much from Mario 3 style level design, that while it's very safe, it's the kind of Mario level design I really like. You know, like, I I feel like they don't really have a whole lot of callbacks to like Mario World in comparison, and while this is a hotly debated topic, I actually do prefer Mario 3 to Mario World, so I am okay with them actually, with the level design of more modern games leaning more towards Mario 3 inspiration than Mario World. Alright, so the Hammer Bro left, so I guess we're doing the fortress after all. This fortress kinda, is interesting. In general, I feel like Mario 3 is a weird game, because it's kind of a game where I almost don't even think about the game anymore, like the game aspects of it. Like, I just kind of blast through it without a whole lot of thought, because it's almost, like, ingrained at this point, in a way where I actually don't really think about, like, level design quirks or anything. Like, with more recent games, or games I don't have a lot of nostalgia for, I almost feel like I put more thought into like how things are actually designed. But with Mario 3, it's just, yeah, very much an autopilot game where I don't really even like question a lot of the level design. Like, does this technically make sense? Like, is this a well-designed level? Things like that. Anyway, this level's fun, stage 4. If we can do this right, we can actually skip a large portion of the level by jumping off of the Lakitu, who decides to just skedaddle, so I guess we're doing the level legit. Yeah, if you can actually time a jump off the Lakitu's head, you can jump onto that wall and skip having to like dive underwater and do all this. I used to be really good at the trick, and then I stopped playing this game as much, so I'm not as good at this trick anymore. But yeah, it's almost like a weird game where I've been playing it for so long that a lot of the mechanics and stuff are just kind of almost like second nature in a way. That I don't even feel with a lot of games in general. This is kind of like a rare exception of a game that I can just really, like, that I just have a really deep appreciation for, to the point of, yeah, how to word this. It's like, I've been playing this game for so much of my life that it's just kind of, yeah, almost instinctual at a point how to get through some of this. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Even Mario 1 I struggle with a lot more. In Mario 2 I didn't play much as a kid, so that one I'm really lost on. Looks like we have 2 Hammer Bro fights coming up, so good thing we just got a Fire Flower. This is a fight against a single Sumo Bro, which is actually not bad if you have a Fire Flower. If you don't, it's a little bit harder. That's round 2, and it looks like there's one more to deal with further down the road. Piece of cake. Again, if you don't have a Fire Flower, that's a lot tougher, obviously. A little bit more tricky. World 4 is really short now that I think about it. Like, the previous world had like 9 regular stages and 2 fortresses. This only has like 6 stages and 2 fortresses. It's like weirdly short compared to World 3. Maybe that's why I don't really care for Giant World as much, just because it's like weirdly like anticlimactic in how it's set up. Like, you know, the overall difficulty curve, because it's not a water stage, this is actually way easier. And it's also much shorter. Like, the levels are also, yeah, like, less of a gauntlet compared to some of the stuff that you go through in World 3. Oh, that's not great. There's a secret up here, if I can actually get to it, which is not as easy because I lost the ability to float. We actually did make it up without too much of a hassle. But this is a Tanuki suit. If you hold down and press B, you can transform into a statue that can defeat certain undefeatable enemies. Or enemies that are normally undefeatable. Also, you can turn temporarily invincible. Also, you will get special dialogue from the king if you finish an airship stage with the Tanuki suit. you know, I always tend to stick to numerical order, and I realize that's a mistake for this specific world. Because if you actually wait until like the last possible chance to get the Tanuki suit, it would actually be a lot easier to keep it. Because as is, now we have to go through, 2 stages now instead of just, 1. Well, actually 3 stages. This stage, the fortress, and the airship. Otherwise, you could only have to deal with, like, 2 stages. I do feel like some of these end stage enemy placements are actually kind of mean. Like, they kind of sneak up on you. So yeah, I definitely would not recommend actually doing stage 5 first, because now we have to actually do a fortress with the Tanuki suit if you want to see the special dialogue. You can also get special dialogue for the frog suit. Good luck actually trying to get to the end of an airship with the frog suit though, especially World 3 where you're most likely to have the frog suit. So yeah, in general, I feel like the Boom Boom fights, even though they're actually the same fight every time, other than he will occasionally start flying, but usually you don't even see enough of the fight to see him take off, in all honesty, or at least I don't. But in general, I actually do feel like the stage block layouts are often really mean. Like, there's not a lot of room to actually maneuver in some of these later fortresses, which is actually kind of a nice way to increase the challenge with the same boss. So this time, the king has been turned into some kind of dinosaur? I think they changed this to a Yoshi in the Super Nintendo and GBA versions, which obviously makes a lot of sense. I'll be honest, I don't like this airship. No one really cares for this one, because for some reason the auto-scroll speed is way slower than every other airship. So yeah, this is just gonna be a very chill part of the stream. Honestly, this run has been going pretty okay, like 1 death so far isn't bad. In all honesty, I don't feel like this is the halfway point, because I do feel like the later worlds are so much longer, like World 6 and 7 are so long. Yeah, it's not quite an even balance in terms of like overall, like, time. Like, because World 6 and 7 are so much longer than, like, World 4, I feel like World 5 is actually more like the halfway point, oddly enough, based on, like, stage count. But I've actually never done the math on that. Like, how many stages would there be total in the game, and if so, what the actual halfway point would be. I kind of feel like that's an interesting design choice to basically have, like, different amounts of levels in each world. Because it makes it so that it doesn't really feel like it's an even balance sometimes. Like, it's not an equivalent, like, number to be like, oh, this is World 4, so it's not the halfway point, though, because a lot of the other worlds are really short, and then the late game worlds are really long. So yeah, I almost feel like partway through World 5 would actually be the halfway point. Yeah, that's something I should actually look into, because I'm curious. But yeah, I was actually only planning to get through, like, this world and then end it, but, like, we're only at, like, an hour for the stream, so I actually might go through World 5 too, just because this went way, way faster than I expected it to. This is Iggy Koopa, if I'm not mistaken. A very uneven airship to fight him in. Wow, that was weird. I kind of phased through him and took damage. So we're not going to get the secret dialogue because of a weird hitbox. So that is the 4th king saved, meaning, yeah, we're technically about halfway through the game. The thief who stole the whistle has escaped to the east side of the sand dunes. I've enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. I'll be honest, that is an extremely not helpful hint, because you actually get the hint so late into the game. It's like, we're in World 5, and they tell you where to find the warp whistle in World 2. But I guess it makes sense, because in this era, games tended to try to encourage multiple playthroughs, so I guess that does make some sense. Alright, so we have these little enemies that'll throw stuff at us if there's stuff to throw, which there was not in this case. There's a really weird secret exit in this stage, if you have a P-Wing. I'm actually tempted to intentionally, like, lose a life and then show that off, but I'm actually not sure. Just because this is, like, a very obscure secret that might be kind of fun to show off. Plus, I found the extra P-Wing in the White Mushroom House, so I do have one more than I sometimes would. That actually wasn't intentional, but it works out. So I actually don't remember where this is, never mind, that was actually really easy to find. There's actually a secret little pipe here that'll take you to a very specific jump you have to make. You basically have to fly up there, but you have to, like, be crouching. This is why I feel like you would need a P-Wing for this. To just get into this little secret spot with a music box. We were almost at the end of the stage proper anyway, so that was just kind of a neat thing to show off. This stage is funny to me, because when I started watching speedruns of this game, they really hyped up, like, landing on this block as, like, a really difficult trick, and how it saves a ton of time. I feel like this is one of those things, like the Ferris wheel glitch in Sunshine, where it's something I figured out when I was really young, but it actually does save a lot of time, because otherwise you'd have to fall all the way to the bottom and go through a large part of the stage that this skips. Like, I want to say this pipe is the exit of the lower half of the stage, so it does save a lot of time. I just thought it was funny. I'm also trying to remember if that's where, like, the one really glitchy speedrun takes place. I think it might be that stage, but it might be stage, like, World 7. I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, my knowledge of the game starts to get gradually less as it goes along, just because I feel like when I was younger, I obviously played the early worlds more, because I was stuck on the harder worlds. We have a lot of choices here. I think I'll actually go to the fortress first, just to do something a little bit different than usual. This fortress kind of sucks, to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's not bad, but it's just kind of annoying to navigate. Then things like that happen, where you run out of running speed right when you need to fly up to the exit, or the secret area. And yeah, there are a couple, like, secret flight paths, which is kind of cool. Wow, that was really awkward timing. Getting hit as soon as I grabbed the power-up, so it didn't count as grabbing the power-up. I'm actually not sure what these are called. I want to say they're called something like roto discs or something, but I actually don't remember if that's accurate or not. This is also really annoying to do without a leaf, but I managed to get through there somehow without taking damage. Alright, and another fight with Boom Boom, and we're done. Man, these fights go quickly. So, we have a choice between Hammer Bros or the next stage. I think I'll get some more items. And another set of 2 Hammer Bros. Well, if we have invincibility, that makes things a little bit easier, oddly enough. Yeah, sometimes you want to take damage on purpose in this game, because then you can use the invincibility frames to make things a little bit easier for yourself. You know what, I'm actually starting to wonder, like, with how I've been playing today, if we'll be able to just play the entire game in one stream. Like, it might only take like 2 hours. If that's the case, I might go for it. This is one of those games where it's almost like I almost feel like I mixed up my childhood experiences with the game with my modern experiences, if that makes sense, where it's like, I play the game, and then I remember it being like really long, and like, kind of taking a lot of time and just being kind of difficult, and then I play it now, and I'm like, wow, I've only been playing an hour, and, yeah, I've only been playing an hour, and I'm already, like, at World 5. But again, this is when the game starts actually really ratcheting up the difficulty, so we might get to, like, World 6 and just hit a wall. Like, there's a very high likelihood of just, yeah, completely getting walled at World 6 or 7. There are definitely some stages in the later parts of the game that I'm genuinely not super looking forward to actually revisiting, as much as I do like the overall game. If we actually need 2 streams, it'll actually be kind of awkward, because then the next stream will just be like World 7 or 8, it'll just be like 15 to 20 minutes of actual Mario 3, and then I'll have to figure out something else to stream, because that would be a very short stream otherwise. This stage is really cool and unique because it's the only stage that you can actually replay. There are actually 2 variations of the stage because this connects the ground part of Skyland to the cloud part. So you can actually go backwards if you need to, by going through like a reversed version of the stage where you kind of like fall through part of the tower instead of climbing up. So yeah, it's actually a unique stage that if you're playing in multiplayer, also every player who wants to go to the sky has to go through this. The sky also acts as a save point, or a checkpoint, so you don't also have to worry about like falling all the way down, thankfully. Or like having to climb up like every time, even though you might still have to climb up a few times if like, I want to say if you get a game over, like on this stage, you do have to climb up the tower, but I feel like if you game over in the sky part, you're actually good to go. Alright, so we have a lot more stages up here. And yeah, we have a lot more platforming now, that we're actually in the Skyland proper. I was thinking about what I was talking about earlier with the kings, and it occurred to me that I guess it makes sense that each individual part of the Mushroom Kingdom has their own king, because like Princess Daisy, and Sarasaland for Mario Land. Alright, so we're actually on a fairly linear path here. And we have a ton of donut blocks, and a very odd hitbox, I guess. That is one thing I don't miss about NES games, is weird hitboxes. It definitely is not ideal. I want to say this might be the coin stage for World 5. Like, you have to ride the donut blocks as they're falling, and then pick up coins as you go, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But I'm pretty sure that's how you get the White Mushroom House. But yeah, we're really blasting through this game way faster than I thought, so yeah, we might just go ahead and try to finish it. Who knows? Alright, so this stage I'm not the biggest fan of. Conceptually, it's cool, and I actually think one of the new Super Mario Bros. Games does a really good job with this concept. of riding these little Parabuzzies, as they're called, which are like flying buzzy beetles, who don't really show up very often in the franchise. Basically, as you land, they will descend briefly and then start flying up. I feel like I've seen Kaizo stages that incorporate these, where you have to basically, like stand on a Parabuzzy for just long enough to keep it like at a specific level, and then fly up, and then you have to like jump again to make it go down again, stuff like that. You know, things that I do not have the patience for. As someone who actually likes this game a lot, I don't think I could have the patience to play through like Kaizo Mario 3, because that's a little bit too much to ask for. You know, I say this, but I also feel like I've played Kaizo Mario and enjoyed it more than most would. But for some reason, I feel like with Mario World, the mechanics are a little bit richer. Well, with Mario 3, I feel like you'd run into like limits of like what you could actually do in the game, to the point where I feel like a Kaizo-style game would actually frustrate me more than like Mario World, where you have more control over the character. Now that I think about it, I have so many items, I really don't need to fight the Hammer Bros. Because it's like, we're just gonna get music boxes and items we don't really need. So yeah, maybe I'll start skipping fights. Oh, I definitely forgot about this fort being the way it is. I wish I had picked an item, in all honesty, for that very reason. I mean, I guess I got my wish of getting to pick an item. Not the way I wanted it to go, though. So basically the way this works is, the little fireballs, or they have so many names, like lava bubbles, potaboos, etc. Basically they will drop down from the ceiling and rise up from the floor, so you have to be very careful, and having a star helps a lot. I really needed that mushroom, but I guess we have to go without it. Trying to make this work. Definitely not ideal, but luckily Boom Boom isn't too bad, and this is a very flat stage with no major obstacles too, so this was actually a good fight to do without a power-up if I had to do one without a power-up. Alright, so we're in the home stretch of World 5. The next stage is an auto-scroller. This one is not an auto-scroller, so I figured this would be okay to go in without a power-up for. Next stage I'll definitely use a P-Wing to make things a lot easier. You can do this without, obviously, but it's just a lot more scary trying to navigate a flying auto-scroller stage without a P-Wing. It is doable, I have definitely done it, but it's not fun. One, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 4 P-Wings. That's definitely enough to get through the game without too much trouble. So yeah, normally, if you don't have a P-Wing, you'd have to actually platform with a vertical auto-scroller. Later on, fire chain chomps will start showing up to shoot fire at you and just make your life miserable. So that's why I tend to opt to just fly over the whole stage. It's an auto-scroller anyway, it's not like the deepest stage in the world, so I feel like it's a lot of like, yeah, waiting around, just jumping whenever a platform shows up, and then you have those jerks showing up to make everything way harder. You can defeat them, but another one will respawn at a point. Like there, the one left, and this one shows up, so even if you defeat one, another one kind of comes by and also makes things a lot more complicated than they would, and at least you don't have to worry about 2 at the same time, because I'm pretty sure you can only have 2 at the same time. So it could be a lot worse. Alright, so we're on the castle of World 5. This time we have an albatross from Mario Bros. 2, I'm pretty sure. Or one of the bird enemies, I actually don't remember what they're called. Oh, this airship is so much faster than the last one. It's actually kind of a welcome change of pace, as World 4 is just, yeah, notoriously slow. There's one auto-scroller that's like blazing fast in World 7, I want to say, or World 8. Yeah, I think it's World 8. Yeah, it's just absurdly fast, and it's actually really scary. It's actually kind of a fun stage because of how intense it is, but it's also kind of nice having a more, like, low-key auto-scroller compared to that. It's almost like a be careful what you wish for. If you thought World 4's was too slow, then yeah, they definitely upped the ante later on. Alright, so we can stand on top of this cannon block, which makes our lives a little bit easier. And at this point, some of these airships will actually have secret items, but this one does not. Next up is Roy Koopa, who has a new gimmick where, like the Sumo Bros, he will shake the ground whenever he lands, stunning you temporarily. Other than getting hit once, that went pretty smoothly, actually. Greetings. Be careful in the ice world. The creatures trapped in the ice will come to life if warmed. I've enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. Princess Toadstool. So that took about an hour and 20 minutes to get through the first 5 worlds, but again, this is when things start to really ratchet up. So while this was a fairly short stream for Mario Day, I think I might actually end this here and save the rest for later, because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to, like, get stuck in World 7, because there's a specific stage I'm probably going to get stuck in, and it'll just take way longer than I have the energy for. So I think it would be better to pace myself and just do a shorter stream and then do another stream, and maybe like Sunday, a normal stream day, to try to wrap this up. So yeah, I do think I'm going to end the stream here. I hope you enjoyed watching the stream, either live or in the YouTube post-upload. As a reminder, if you have watched to this point on the YouTube version, yeah, I do these streams live on Twitch, and if you want to catch these live, you can find a link in the description. But yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you have a good rest of your day and week. And yeah, next stream will probably be Sunday, March, that's the 13th, right? Yeah, March 13th. This was sort of an unplanned stream because I was like, I have time and it's Mario Day. Sure, we'll start Mario 3. But yeah, Sunday's my normal, like, I would like to stream every Sunday if possible kind of a day. So yeah, probably starting normal time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll try to finish up the rest of this game, and depending on how long it takes, we might do something else. Maybe play a different Mario game, because there are a couple really short games I could potentially go through and highlight. Well, who knows what we'll end up doing. But yeah, in any case, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, week, and thank you for watching. I feel like I keep saying thank you for watching, because I I'm clearly very good at outros. Yeah, see you for the next stream.